Hello there, welcome back to Life Lived Out of Order, where I am nobody special, just somebody that wants to share my thoughts because I've made a lot of mistakes and I've had to think about them. Today I want to talk about too much free time, life purpose, kind of get into a little of laws of nature and compare it to ancient man. So, the dawn of mankind. 100% of humanity spent about 90% of their time securing food. And this is kind of true throughout most of nature. Most animals spend the majority of their time trying to secure food. It's, food is life. So their life purpose, ancient man, their life purpose was to survive. Not go to college, not go to Cancun, not invest in a 401k. At a certain point, they learned how to plan ahead by cultivating and herding. Planning ahead is what truly differentiated mankind from the rest of the animal kingdom. This led to a much safer and better quality of life because they were securing enough food to adequately feed themselves and then some. This gave them extra time and energy because they were no longer spending so much time trying to avoid starvation. They used this extra time and energy to build better shelters and to develop better technologies like the plow. And then they used this to improve farming methods even better. This was a very beneficial cycle of where they would develop better technology. That technology would improve farming techniques. They would then produce more food with less energy. And this has evolved. That cycle has continued and evolved for over 1,000 years. And now, less than 2% of the U.S. population produces enough food for the entire population of the United States, and we export. So that's 22% of the population spending about 23% of their time producing food. Vast, vast difference from ancient man. So we literally just have an ample supply of time on our hands, and we're kind of running out of things to do. In the beginning, when we first started saving time by cultivating and herding animals, we still had plenty of time and energy to invest into improving how we lived, like building better structures to protect ourselves. We've run out of that. Our technologies have plateaued. So ancient man secured their future 1 year at a time by planting in spring, harvesting in summer, and saving seeds for the following spring. And for those of you who don't know, the reason why much of the world has a spring break and has a summer break is because back when we were still more of an agrarian society, we would plant in spring. Well, the kids, the entire community would plant in spring because they needed to survive, and in summer they would harvest. And you plant a tiny seed and you get this much food out of it. So that's why there's only a short amount of time for spring, and then a full 2 months in summer to harvest your food. So this is a throwback from thousands of years of farming. So even though this was a simple plan, a year-by-year plan for ancient mankind, this was literally life-saving, because if they got lazy and decided not to plant in spring, that means by summer they were out of food, and they were not going to survive winter. Now we can plan very little, or we can plan 20 years in advance, and at no point have the same needs at stake. So you've met plenty of people. You're probably someone like that yourself. You don't plan ahead very well. You don't plan a year in advance. A lot of young people, we don't plan. Well, a lot of young people don't plan a year in advance. I certainly didn't know how to plan terribly far in advance, but some people do plan 20 years in advance. We can do that. That's something new to humanity that we can do, and we haven't gotten used to it. So we have far less of a precedence in planning, meaning if we don't plan a year in advance, we will still survive just fine, unlike ancient man. We have drastically more leeway in planning, meaning we can plan to do whatever we want to do. I mean, we can work at a burger place, we can work at a grocery store. Some people don't work at all. Or you can join the military. There's a lot of different ways to plan for your future. And there's more life options than we have ever had before. And an increased life expectancy to go with it. So in some ways, like adolescence is being extended. You know, now college is like the new high school. You still have people that are 26 walking down the hall in flip-flops going to class. You know, 50 years ago when you were 26, you were expected to be, you know, well into a career and have 3 kids already. So life has changed a lot with an increased life expectancy. So life purpose. What is life purpose? To ancient man, life purpose was literally planting food and surviving. Every day was survival. Now, we don't have to worry about that. Now, our life purpose is whatever we choose it to be. You know, thousands of years ago, we didn't have much of a decision. 100 years ago, 200 years ago, we still had very little to decide from because most people were born into the profession that they were going to die in. That's how things work. Now we don't. Now we can literally choose whatever we want to. And it's difficult. There's so many options that it's difficult. So, and this is new to humanity. And it's constantly changing, more so this generation, the past generation, than what it ever how much it has ever changed for any previous generation. We just haven't gotten used to it. So, but now this starts to violate some of the basic laws of nature, and I'll get into that next time I make a video. So, hopefully one day somebody's gonna like what I have to say. Have a good one.